this nationalistic structure that we're establishing. This becomes the solution to millions of different problems. Just to give you an example. This property that we have here, I would not be able to have this by myself. As a revolutionary and a nation building, I know that I can't have anything by myself and have it. If we don't have it as a community, we don't have it at all. Because only a community can protect an asset. An individual against the forces that exist cannot stand against them. After you get through paying for your attorney and trying to buy your way, buy your freedom within the institutional framework, you find out that you end up losing every single time. You need a community of synergized individuals to solve those problems. So as individuals, we cannot have anything because we can only protect things as a community. Do y'all hear the point I'm making? Literally. You got 20 people in these houses, it's going to be hard to break in. You got one person here, it's somebody that'll get you. Feel the point I'm making? I'm just keeping reality. Only a community can protect valuable assets. An individual cannot. You cannot be everywhere every time. You just cannot do it. You cannot be, you can get all the cameras you want and all you can do is play the camera back and see them walking away with your shit. So the cameras is not protecting you. So only a community can protect real assets. So we need a community to do it. So thus having a community of people that are nationalistic, we're able to have our own land and our own community center that we operate. Now, we operate this outside of individuals who support the white supremacist institution. None of them are coming in here, period. We deal with them out there. You follow what I'm making? Nobody with the least amount of white supremacist idea can escape into our institutions. Because this is a mastermind of people saying when we go back in there in any way, we taking over and we bring it back. Do y'all hear the point I'm making? And they're not coming in. Y'all feel the point I'm making? We're taking over and we bring it back. We're coming back in. Now we're taking over and bringing back and coming back in. If you need any of us out there to take over, to strategize the takeovers, that's what we're here for. We're taking back our health. We're taking back our family. We're taking back our children. We're taking back our community, and we're going to be able to hold it down as a conscious community, even against unconscious Negroes. Even against them. And that's what we're strategizing, and that's what we're building all along. It is a mechanism that can secure the reality of black nationalism. And it can operate and move as one strong force against any institution or any individuals that are against it. Now, people talk about, and what sparked this conversation, is the sister was talking about being an independent black woman. I want my own independence. And I'm going to be a single, independent woman and do it all myself. I said, you will never be independent in this society. There's no such thing. There's no independent black man, independent white man, no independent black woman, no independent black man. There's no independence in this society. Either you can depend on a community that can ensure the wealth of the group, or you depend on the white supremacist institutions. That's your only choice. The reason that people need to depend, they need to depend on the white man's institution, because they cannot work together as a group. So they said, I got to get a job and pay for child care, and pay for this and pay for that. But that's what your sisters and brothers are supposed to be able to help you do. Do you understand what I'm making? But since you're going to be independent, you appear to be independent when you in front of other black people. But when you go and get your check from Massa, you don't look too independent. When you're worried about if he going to hire you or fire you or not, it seems like you're dependent on something. Talking about bailouts and companies shutting down, and now they're going to close down all these different office depots now. Come on, they're talking about shutting down, I believe, what, 120 of them or something? Office depots? So now if they shutting down your job, you find out that you was dependent on the matrix. So how was you independent if you depended on a handout from the white supremacist institution? There's no such thing as independence in this society. There's no independent nobody. You're either dependent on black or you're dependent on Europeans. Do y'all understand the point I'm making? And if you hate your people, you understand black love and black nation building. When you see you can't depend on the white boy institution, then you see there's no black people there for you either. Because why? You was independent. And while you laying on the ground, they walking on, stepping over your ass, Mr. and Mrs. Independent. Do y'all hear the point I'm making? But when you work with a structure that's set up to ensure the health, the liberty, the independence, and the sovereignty of the group, when you're a part of that, then you now have the power of that group in any and every situation and circumstance of which is needed. But what you give is what you get. If you give nothing to the group, you got nothing coming back. The group ain't about money. It's not about money. It's about what you give out of sincerity. That means the laws of karma govern this group. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying? We can say we're going to give each person all that we can. But all we can is limited to their sincerity and their loyalty. We can't get nobody no more than their worth. If we tried. If we handed somebody whose karma was in bankrupt, whose dharma was in bankrupt, if we handed them $100, it would burn up before we could get it to them. Because it's not according to a natural law that they even receive that because of their worth and their value based upon their contribution to the universe. So this is a group you can't buy your way into it. But when you add to the pool, then you have all the water. But what you add must be sincere, must be real. But whatever you add is multiplied in the pool. Y'all feel the point I'm making? You put one drop of Kool-Aid in the pool, the whole pool is red. One drop. But there got to be a potent drop. You know what I'm making? You can't put a drop of a cup of Kool-Aid in there. You got to put a drop of straight out the pack. So whatever real energy and real consciousness and real sincerity is brought to the group will be returned to all the individuals that are inside of the group. Not because of this group being some type of organizational structure of accounts and balances and checks and balances. No. Because it's the divine karma of how the universal laws naturally exist. So it's based upon universal law that happened. Not based upon some type of man-made organizational structure. All man-made organizational structures will fail. Each and every one of them, they were meant to fail. You see all these corporations, bankruptcy, those organizational frameworks were meant to fail. America is failing. They're in debt. So why will we try to take and imitate the structure of a failing institutional framework? We don't want the structure of their failing organizations. We want to be governed by truth. And truth says whatever you put into it is what you get out of it. The energy that you bring in is the energy that you get out of it. You want more from it, and give more to it. That's the only structure that exists. That's the reality. If you go to the ocean and you put your bucket in there, you're going to leave with as much water as you put in it. You feel the point I'm making? You ain't going to get no more. But that same principle is in every aspect of our lives. What you get out is what you put in. But if you put in that which is magnanimous, you are also transformed by what you put in. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying? Because if you keep filling them damn buckets up, in a little while, you're going to be cut. Y'all hear the point I'm making? Now you're storing energy. That's all muscle is. It's just stored energy. Stored elasticity for motion. You stored all this energy up. So not only have you filled up your buckets and worked to fill the water in the buckets, but you've already also built yourself up as a god in the process. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying? As an individual, I have done a lot for the overall black conscious community. I've been handing out DVDs, editing them, distributing them myself, running an herbal ministry, studying, and advancing to be of a contribution. But in the process of doing all that, if nobody ever said thank you, I have become a better person as due to all of my contributions. Do y'all hear the point I'm making? And I feel better and greater about myself through the process of evolving into becoming a better person through my giving. So I'm more happy about who I have become by way of my giving. Ain't that deep? So if anybody ever said thank you, or if they never showed one inkling of appreciation, it matters not. Because I can look at the advancement of my works. I can look at what has been built from the work that I put in. And if you can't look at your own development and your own growth from what you have done, if you can't see that, then that's blindness. But that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the growth of self, the development of us as an individual to become more effective, to become more advanced, and to become more powerful and more stronger to fulfill the needs of this planet, of living and existing on this planet. So my point is that if no one said, thank you for doing this and helping this out, it don't even matter. Because I can see my own evolution of being able to do better and give better and help better. And that means more to me than some person talking about thank you. Sister sent me an email talking about how I become a vegetarian. Thanks to you. Staying on me about becoming a vegetarian, I've changed my diet, and I want to thank you the way you impacted me. You have changed my life and started me on the path. I said, sister, I'm not even thinking about you. Because I talked to you 10 years ago. I've completely forgotten about you. Do you understand the point I'm making? Now remember yourself and evolve even further than that. Do you get the point I'm making? I'm telling you, it's not an egotistical or a vanity trip. Because once you get into the egos of what people are doing and what people are not doing, you get lost. Because now you want accolades and fame and people laughing in your face and flattery. That's not what we're doing this for. Right. We're doing this because we respect the path. We respect the way of black nationalism and enlightenment. So everything we do is because we have a sincere devotion to the way, not what people think about it. This is not a political arena. We not ask people to cast their votes. One minute they'll agree with you for what you're doing. The next minute they will disagree with you for what you're doing. And then they'll agree with you again. We can't get caught up into all that. We are sincere to the way. And that's the energy we're going to keep putting forth, and we're going to constantly be loyal to that, not people. People will be impacted by the way. Some people should grow and should develop from it, definitely. But the fact that we're keepers of the way in its pure and pristine manner is more important than flattery from individuals. You understand what I mean? Because you can be out there on some bullshit and people can flatter you for that too. Man, that bullshit you on, I like that shit. That's nice. Keep that bullshit up. Do you hear the point I'm making? So flattery can lead you down and vanity can lead you down the wrong road because it looks alike. People thank you for some bullshit. Man, you snatched her purse, dog. That was cold. Man, damn. So if you're into flattery and thanks and accolades and all that, it's easy to get misled because you can be appreciated for doing some most negative things. But you can't sincerely appreciate yourself for becoming totally negative. So this path is about self-examination. You won't have a nation until you have examination. Self-examination. That means we must examine ourselves and become conscious of who we are on the path. Now the whole struggle is familyhood, it's communityhood, it's culture building. And we got to strategize because you got to think. If we can't use the resources in our own community to build our own community, how do we build it? And who has the resources? Who's misutilizing and misdistributing the resources that are supposed to be used to build a nation? Our people are doing that. So how do we change the nation and build it without challenging those individuals who are misutilizing resources? Now, I'm not saying we're going to win every battle up front, but they have to be challenged. They have to be, because we won't reach the realistic idea or objective of nation building. Literally, it's not going to happen. If we can't go to those people and say, wait a minute, you spending $50 here, but if you spent that $50, you can feed 50 people. And you still spending $50 to feed one person? And we can't challenge them at all on that? Or realize that the challenge is there? It's one thing to just choose not to challenge them. But to not see the challenge being there is to be totally deaf, dumb, and blind. The challenge is there. When you got people who choose to go deal with the white supremacist institution versus dealing with a black nationalistic infrastructure. That's a real challenge that is really there that must be dealt with to build a nation. Now, that doesn't mean that we become hostile or aggressive, because that ain't the way to solve the problems. But we got to constantly keep being aware. Because if we're not aware, we fall asleep. Oh, I guess that's because you're doing it. I guess that's right then. You know what I'm making? Now we didn't fell asleep. I guess because you keep wanting to give all your money to the European institutions, well, I guess that's the thing to do. We went back to sleep now. It's one thing to say that right now I might not have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to impact this situation. Right now, that's one thing. It's another thing to say, well, okay, that's your business. Y'all hear the point I'm making? It ain't just their business. When you talk about nation and community building, the community is the business of all of us because we're all affected by what the community does. All of us are affected by each and every individual within our community. If it's a drive-by shooting, we're affected.